How you doing there, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the NEXWEAVE show. So today we have a special, kind of like a different type of show than what you may be used to. Normally we go on Thursdays at 9 a.m. Pacific. Today we're going on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Pacific because we have a special show and a special team with us today. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring everyone else on screen. On that note, guys, community members, Sumolings, everyone from NEXWEAVE team members and NEXWEAVE community members, say hello to the VBout team, Richard and George Fallah. How you doing there, boys? Thank you for joining us today.
Doing great, Bruce.
Thank you,
Thanks
Bruce,
for having us.
So we're going to try to make this fun and a little organic at the same time because we have a lot of people who have purchased VBout or are going to and don't know a lot about the platform. They also don't know like how they could possibly use or consider using NEXWEAVE to enhance the results from, let's say, their VBout workflows. So let's jump right in. Richard, George, feel free, whoever wants to take charge. Let us know, what is VBout all about? Give us a quick, brief little intro, and then let's jump into a little walkthrough, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Let me know when you can see my screen, guys.
It's not popped up yet. There we go. Got it.
Perfect. Won't bore the community too much, but it's always important to put a background to the company. Many
Sure.
of you already know what VBout is, but for those of you who don't, we started as a digital agency back in the days, and we moved our way from knowing that the world is fragmented between the Franken stack of the world. These are the multiple products. If you have to patch a campaign end to end, from email, landing page tools, and so on. They work great individually as product, but then when you use them all combined, it was a nightmare. And then we try to use different products that consolidate, like HubSpot, Marketo, and these guys, and they were extremely pricey and expensive. So we set out on the journey to build a product right in between. Okay, I'm going to get to that in a minute. Before I do, I would love to have your community take advantage of the giveaway that we are putting out there. We are giving away our VBout agency certification course. George will put in the chat the link to the academy as well as the code, so you don't have to pay for it. This is exclusively for your community as a thank you for having us.
Richard, we already love you because of that right there. Just letting you know. Okay, live stream done. Have a good week, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care, guys. I also would love to invite everybody to join us on our VBout community, which you guys will share the link to. We are constantly pumping content, whether it's video analysis on funnels, emails, interviews, and monthly solid meetings on the latest topics. So join us on our community and leave us a comment. We'd love to have you. Now back to what the VBout story is. When we set out on our journey to build that marketing stack, we wanted to do a few things. One, we wanted to focus on marketing. We don't want to be doing a lot of things like support, productivity, sales. We're not any of these. We are strictly a marketing automation stack. We also focus on the interface. We want to provide a simple interface, or as simple as possible. Great price, and also premium support from people who are actually there helping you, not just providing you with pre-canned responses or automated bots. These have been our pillars, and this is what have made us successful over the past 7 years. Now, those of you who asked, VBout does too much. I even saw this Facebook comment that says, I need to make a cocktail for my wife. Does VBout do that? First, cheers to whoever left that comment. But VBout does not do that. We actually don't do a lot of things that are not marketing related. So what I want to do is just share with you the tools. Okay. We focus on top of the funnel tools. These are these three tools: landing pages, forms, and pop-ups. So if you are capturing leads on your site, you definitely need these tools. They are available in VBout. The second tool set are what happens after you've captured them. People filled out the form, they claim the offer. We give you automation builders, tracking leads in depth, and even email campaign capability. So these are the second part of the funnel after you've captured them. Last but not least, which is the most important to me, is how you can retain that customer to be a loyal customer. And this is where these tool sets come in. We should provide them in VBout. So capture, nurture, and retain the customer are the core tool sets of VBout. So far, so good?
Perfect.
Awesome. Now, what is that? What do we do? And this is probably what brings us to today's topic. We integrate very well with different platforms. And now that we're bringing our integration with NextWeave, which I'm super excited about, and we'll know in a few minutes, we, we work really well. And I really know that every company needs to integrate well. And this NextWeave integration, I think, is going to be a game changer for a lot of companies who want to take their personalization from personalizing email content and subject lines to personalizing videos and images. I won't give you too much about this because I know that the team here is going to do a great job at it, but stay tuned so you can know exactly how you can do that. And I won't dive too much into the product. This is just a visual builder of how we can do drag and drop automations. This is our first party cookie tracking that we let you own. So you guys should be focusing on how you can own your tracking data. A core manifesto we have here at VBout is we want you to be in charge. Stop paying Facebook top dollars so they could give you the audience. Build your own audience and then send it to Facebook for a cheaper cost per click. And this is one of the things that we empower. And last but not least here, if you're wondering where we are in the landscape of products, if you think about the products that are affordable, they do an all-in-one. They're right here, okay? We call them the underkills. And then you have the overkills. These are expensive products that are pricey, difficult to set up. We are in the middle trying to kind of provide an amazing product, an amazing price that's easy to use and doesn't cost you your mortgage, car payment, and your kids' tuition as well. So this is it in terms of a landscape. I can give it back to you guys. Was this good, guys? Any questions so far?
Perfect. When you get a chance, and this was exactly what a lot of us were looking for. If you could also give us a brief breakdown on the back end, like UI navigating, just like something over 60 seconds or 3 minutes, so people have an idea and a concept of how to create a very basic campaign that would be helpful too. And then we'll jump in and try to figure out when would be the most organic time in the workflow or step in the workflow where NextWeave can jump in and try to help out VBout customers.
Sweet. So what I'm in right now is our new email builder that we just released. But I want you to just keep in mind that VBout is all these products combined. And navigation is very simple. So on the left panel, you have your dashboard with all your reports. And you can probably report on over 30 different marketing channel here, whether the channel is your email, your list growth, your Google paid ads, and so on. We have your contact and data architecture where your leads are coming. So you have 360 view of every single person, including the lead score, how they're performing and how they're doing. Important stuff if you are doing this. You have your list forms, drag and drop. So everything is quite simple in data architecture. Okay. So if you are data driven, you like to consolidate and personalize, you'll understand the value of custom fields. And this is something that Shreya is going to talk about, is how you can actually personalize content, images, and you can use custom fields to do that. Now, we do have a landing page drag and drop builder, which is also available, so you can build pages at scale. Let me show you one sample page we just released. This is, we got this a lot. Let me see. There we go. We use our product heavily. I mean, we literally live on it, right? So this is a sample. We have top of the funnel, we have to fill in a form to get access to the tool. So this is one campaign that we're running right now, and we use product VBout exactly to capture leads and practice what we preach. And then we have the automation builder. This is probably my personal favorite. What happens after people fill in this form? So we can drag and drop visually. You don't need to know code. You don't need to have a technical team to do it. You can actually do it yourself. Let me just close up some of these extra calls. Okay, so I can join the lists, and then I can send an email thank you to the person. We can go SMS as well. Okay. Browser push, and perhaps add a tag and create a task. All I have to do to make this a running campaign is just to link them with an arrow and configure the messages, of course. This is my personal favorite, guys, because it lets you automate things. It's one of the core products to nurture your leads, and you can build things as short as a week, a couple of days, and you can go for years. I've had people build literally automations that have been running for a couple of years. So this is our flagship product. Um, I don't know. Should I pause here? How do you like me to proceed? I know there's a lot here to cover.
I'll leave that totally up to you guys, or Inder, if you want to chime in.
Yeah, I think what Richard has just shown is extremely exciting. Once we saw the platform, we just reached out to him immediately, having a discussion, because it just opens up so many things that we can do together. And I'll hand it over to Shreya, because she's created a very nice demo to showcase how the two tools can be used together right now.
Perfect.
And then maybe down the line, we will have a tighter integration so that you can use the entire workflow a lot more easily. So Shreya, over to you.
Thanks, Inder. Thanks, Richard, for kicking off the demonstration today. So I'll jump right into it.
Sure.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, so before we go into VBout, I'm just going to start by giving you like a quick introduction of NEXWEAVE. I'm sure some of you may already have used it. But the first step whenever you start building any experiences is to identify your templates. So we have existing public and private template libraries. So private template libraries would contain the templates that you edit and create. So I'm not going to go into the template creation process, but I've already identified and segregated the template that I want to use in today's demo. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a personalized email on VBout and actually embed a NEXWEAVE image inside that, which is going to be personalized. And we're also going to hyperlink that image to a landing page that contains a video. So a lot of steps to cover.
So Shreya,
So-
just to sorry to interject, and because
Sorry,
the
please.
terminologies for our community too might be confusing. In
Okay.
your case, template is actually a media project, correct?
Correct. Absolutely. Thanks
VBout a
for
template is a newsletter design or an email or
Yeah.
landing page design, just so that our community can differentiate, because we're going to be sharing this with them as well. So really important, guys. In NEXWEAVE, a template is a media, whether it's an image or video, and in VBout
image, videos, or GIFs. Yeah.
or GIFs, animated GIFs, and in VBout it's actually the design itself. Thank you, Shreya. I just wanted to clarify that.
No, thank
And-
you. That's a great point. Yeah.
Thank you to the Facebook user who just picked up tier 2 of VBout because of the NEXWEAVE integration. That's what we want to hear too.
Oh,
There we
that's
go.
wonderful. So to clarify, when I say templates, I do mean the media. So that would include the images, videos, and GIFs that you personalize on NEXWEAVE. So this is an image media file that I created on NEXWEAVE, where, as you can see from the right, there are two variables, username and domain. So actually, when I pass this through some sort of data, it's going to pick up the information which is akin to the username as well as the domain or the company website, however you want to customize it, and it'll populate this image. So that's how the personalization essentially works. So the reason this image has a play button here, which I added in the editor, is so that it can entice the viewer to click on the image. It'll look like it's a sort of thumbnail for something more, for a video. So the next media file that I've sort of segregated and created is this personalized video. So you can see this too is personalized for the username and the domain or the company website. And we actually have a trick whereby you can personalize the images that appear inside the videos as well. So we have integrated logo components and image personalization as available features too.
Love it.
And
This is so cool.
once you have this video identified, now there's a couple of ways in which you can dispense it, right? You could embed this video by default, send it through a default sort of landing page, or what we've done is we've created a custom landing page on WordPress, and we've embedded this personalized video along with certain personalized images. So what you see right now is a default value, but through the course of this demonstration, I'll show you how this will be personalized, and your viewers will basically see their name, their company logo, and their information front and center. So this is what I'm going to be embedding inside VBout CME. So I'm going to use VBout as my as the marketing automation platform to dispense these personalized media files. So now let's jump into VBout really quickly. The first thing I did in VBout is I uploaded a contact list. So Richard pointed out the ability to create custom fields, and this is why that's extremely important. I have an idea of the kind of information I want to use.
So Richard pointed out the ability to create custom fields, and this is why that's.
Oh, sorry about that. Can everyone hear me? Can I just get a confirmation?
You good, Shreya. That happens.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, wonderful. So what Richard pointed out earlier was the ability to create custom fields, and this is why it's important. So when I identified the media that I wanted to use for my personalization activity, there's certain pieces of information that are required there. For me, that was the company information, the website of the company, and the name. So VBout has certain personalization or contact fields, as they refer to it, that are available by default. For whatever that isn't available, you can easily create a custom field. So while creating a new contact, you have the option to add additional information or tags to each contact. So I uploaded a CSV where I added custom fields for company and website. So that was the first step. Now I have my contact list created, and I'm going to be sending out emails to this specific list. Next, we can jump into the email campaign portion. So within the campaign section, creating a campaign is really simple because it's a step-by-step approach. I can populate the information that is requested, enter a subject line, and this subject line can be personalized as well. So you can see when I click on NEXWEAVE list 2, which is the contact list that I uploaded for the purpose of this demonstration, these are the different fields that are going to be applied. These are the different, my CSV file basically mapped information to these fields that are compatible with VBout. So I can insert any of them to personalize my subject line as well, which makes that email.
Yes, Shreya. So thank you for this. And really important, guys, you're in control of these fields. Shreya has shown you some basic, but if your company requires additional personalization, maybe the name of the child, because you're sending birthday reminders for your kid, for the client's child, or whether it is, personal preference in e-commerce, and you have that as a custom field. This is your world, and Shreya has just shown you the basics for the sake of this demo. So thank you, Shreya, for showing this. I'm super pumped about this.
Oh, I'm so glad. In fact, Richard, the way you pointed out, like the depth of personalization is something that we offer in NEXWEAVE as well. You have the ability to, similar to VBout, create your own personalization fields. And that could honestly be personal messages, personal discount codes, as you mentioned, the weather that day, the name of your child, etc., etc. So you can actually play around and get really creative with the two. So once your setup is complete, you can click on next. I'm going to select the same contact list that I uploaded previously. And then we can move on to designing the email template. So I have already built a draft template for VBout previously. So I'm just going to choose that, and it'll also give you a glimpse into what the VBout editor looks like. So it's actually a really easy to use drag and drop editor. So I've created kind of like a welcome email as a potential use case here. And I've left a blank space for the image. This is where I need to enter my personalized image. So we're done with the setup. Just to recap quickly, in the setup, I identified the NEXWEAVE media files that I want to use, which is the image and the video. And I made sure that my contact list and contact fields were up to date on VBout, and I created an email template on VBout. Now let's join the dots here. So let's go back to NEXWEAVE for a second. Now in NEXWEAVE, what I have here are my individual media files, my image and my video. How do I get a link or a code or something that I can then paste into VBout? For that, in NEXWEAVE, we run something called campaigns. So campaigns are phrased slightly differently in VBout, but I want to clarify that at this stage. When it comes to NEXWEAVE, campaigns are basically a process by which you can generate the codes and links that will make these media files available to share outside of the platform. So it's just a process by which I can create like an HTML link or a URL that I can later then export onto a different platform or share with my end user directly. So let's jump into the campaign section and click on create a new campaign here. I'm going to set a name for this. Now, in this particular demonstration, my aim is to share an image inside the email template, and I want to hyperlink that image to this web page, which contains the NEXWEAVE video. So I'm going to leave this campaign type to video plus image, and then I can proceed to selecting the respective media. So for the email, I want to select my VBout image and email media file, which I showed you previously, which is this particular image. And similarly for the video, I can select the VBout video, the video that I created for VBout. And with NEXWEAVE, you also have the ability to set a personalized thumbnail. So before your viewer clicks on play, they're going to see like a personalized image as an overlay on the video as well. So I'm going to select one of my existing templates for that.
Shreya, quick question to you. They have to create these three assets separately, correct?
Correct.
The thumbnail,
Exactly.
the image, and the video. So these are three different assets
So
that you can
the
create and save.
thumbnail, absolutely. So the thumbnail is actually an image itself. So you can use any of your existing images as thumbnails. So the same image can be repurposed as the thumbnail as well.
Okay.
But you need at least two assets created for this kind of campaign. The first is the image and the second is the video.
Clear.
And now in this case, as I mentioned previously, there's a couple of different ways in which you can share videos that are created on NEXWEAVE. So without overloading you with too much information, for this particular scenario, I have created a custom landing page. So the domain of the landing page is nextweave.com, and this is where I have all of my personalized videos sort of embedded here. So inside my campaign, I'm going to set the landing page type to custom and just simply enter nextweave.com. Again, it'll become clear why we need to specify that at this stage, but I'll come to that in the next couple of steps. So now at our end, the basic setup is done. So I'm going to move on to the activation method. And here, so there are different purposes to using bulk link and URL override. Again, I don't want to get too technical at the moment, but we have covered these extensively, and I'll be happy to cover this with anyone who has questions in the chat. But for this case, we're going to use URL override. So basically, we're going to generate a URL for the video and the image that will be compatible to use directly inside the VBout platform. So that's why I'm using a URL override. You can sort of figure out a logic like that, that I'm creating an image URL and a video URL that I can export easily and will be compatible with the VBout platform.
And Shreya, just to continue that, when you're creating an email and you're adding an image inside an email, it's technically you are putting a link to an image that's hosted somewhere, and that image is hosted right now on NEXWEAVE. So what you're doing is you're telling VBout, here's the link where this image is. It's on NEXWEAVE, and that's all that Shreya is explaining. Anybody who's designed emails, I think, are familiar with this, and she's going to show you as well how to do it, right, Shreya?
Correct. And in fact, VBout makes it really simple because, again, I don't need to use the HTML codes or anything. I can simply rely on the URL. So it truly remains no code in that sense. And as you can see, the image is easily edited by entering an image path and the link here. So I'll come back to that in a second. But just going back to NextWeave, once I've entered the kind of campaign type and details, this is a combination of the variables that are coming in from my selected templates. So it just so happened that both the selected image and video had username and domain. Again, these are variables that I have created. When you start creating templates on NextWeave, you could have n number of variables. There's no restriction on the nature of the variable or the number of variables. Just for this purpose, there are two. And once ready, we can simply just launch the campaign. So now our templates are ready, they're activated. We can generate the required URL by clicking on Get Embed Code. Now it becomes really simple because all I need to do is select my desired platform. So in this case, I type in and search for VBout, and then I can choose the variables from VBout that match the NextWeave variables. So as I mentioned earlier, and Richard mentioned as well, VBout already has some basic set of customer variables that are available or contact fields that are available, but it's completely customizable both on NextWeave's end as well as VBout's end. So while uploading my contact list, I created this variable for website. So it was super simple. When you try it out, you'll see that actually it doesn't take any time to do. So for NextWeave, I'm just going to copy and paste that variable here. I've added it as a custom field. So what I'm telling NextWeave now is that I actually want the username variable to be equal to the same, to be compatible with VBout, and same with the company website or domain variable as well. And click on Generate Embed Code. You don't have to worry about that too much because whatever is generated is ready to use. You don't need to manipulate it further. You can just copy these codes and paste them directly into VBout. So now let's pop back over to the email editor. So as Richard pointed out, you can define the path for this image. So right now it's picked a default sort of placeholder. I'm going to remove that. And from my campaign, I'm just going to take this image URL, copy it, and paste it in this image path. I don't need to do anything else. It'll upload in a second, and then I can just adjust the size. This is purely a visual adjustment. So you can see that the values don't really make complete sense. They're fallback values. Don't worry about that right now, because when you send this out, even when you send a test email, you'll see that it'll populate. The same way that you see first name here, it'll change to your audience's first name. The same thing is going to happen inside the image as well. Now in added, we could stop here. This could just be the personalized email. But just as an added step, as a deeper personalized experience, what you can also do is set a hyperlink for this image. Now this image can be hyperlinked to a website URL or a booking calendar, file manager, etc., or even a landing page link, which will link it to any of the landing pages you build within VBout. So there is a really, really seamless connection between the different aspects that VBout offers as well. But we're gonna link it right now to an external landing page, which is this nextweave.com page that I created, right? So if you scroll down inside your campaign where the codes are generated to the VBout video embed link, you'll see that it's a link that starts with nextweave.com and it has certain variables mentioned here. So I'm going to copy this code and paste that into the URL space in VBout and just set this yes to open link in new tab and apply the changes. So my my email template, I'm sorry, is complete. It's completely customized, it's personalized, it's ready to send. We can click on continue. That'll take me back into the campaign setup, the 4 steps here. And once I'm happy with everything, I can just check the summary. I'm going to click on send now so we can test out the email as well. Just check the details and click on send. So this campaign is launched and shared with the personalized email. Now, this would go into moderation for a few minutes by VBout, where I think Richard can give you a little more detail as to what the under moderation would entail. But before we can see the end result, it takes a couple of minutes.
Yes, so every new account that gets added to VBout goes through a rigorous moderation process to ensure that nobody's sending out spam. Every day we block dozens of accounts trying to stage phishing websites like Wells Fargo, PayPal reset password, and you'll be surprised how active that underground cracking world, we call it, is. So we prevent this by moderating every single campaign for users. But eventually, once we verify you are a valid sender and the data is legit, we move you out of this moderation phase so everything's fully automated. So this is, again, a temporary initial probation period, if you want to call it, that eventually you will be out of. I'm going to go ahead and push in that campaign so people can see the end results, Shreya. If you want to continue in the meantime, you can go ahead.
I actually have, I launched a campaign about
You
an
did?
hour
Okay.
earlier, the same one, yeah, just for the sake of the demonstration. So
Very prepared.
this is kind of what the final email looks like. So you see, I had a personalized subject line, and
Nice.
then this is the email body. So just to demonstrate, I set apple.com as the domain in my Excel file, just so that it's easy to identify the logo and actually see the kind of effect that the personalization does.
Yeah,
So
can you
this is
please 1 second tell us? So you have the name. So you see, hi Shreya. Shreya is the personalized name.
correct.
Apple.com is a personalized domain, and the logo on the left is a personalized logo.
Correct. So in fact, I'll show you the template in a couple of minutes.
And,
We
Richard, I
found
should also point out that the website that you see inside the laptop is also personalized as well.
Oh,
correct.
okay, cool.
That's a screenshot of apple.com.
Okay.
Shreya,
So
now you're just
Apple,
showing off. I just got to say that. Now you're just showing off.
wait, the best part is yet to come, in fact. So we're going to basically incite people into clicking on this link, and when they do, they're redirected to a landing page, which is similar to the landing page I showed you earlier, except instead of the placeholder values, this time around it'll have information that is personalized to me. So which will have Shreya and apple.com. So you see the similar thumbnail, and then when I click on play on the video,
Gotta love this.
Richard, that just blew our socks off right there. Not just the email's personalized, but then the end destination on a given website is personalized too.
Gotta love this. We preach this a lot. I mean, look, the stats don't lie. If you look out there for any statistics on personalization, 52% of people are likely to shop elsewhere if you fail to personalize your messages. Don't lose out on those people for a company who's doing it better than you. You have 80% of people are more inclined to purchase from a company that provides tailored experiences. Tailored experiences are not only relevant products, but also seeing that name, relevant graphics content that talks to them. This is so simple to use, and I know Shreya, you went through a few steps. It's easy. You set up the media, you create the campaign to get the links, and then you can embed those links on your VBout platform. Should be super simple.
correct, exactly. It's really easy to do. And once you basically have your templates identified, it becomes like a three-step process.
We hear feedback, guys. I'm sorry. Maybe Bruce is. If you're on mic, maybe we're hearing it. Okay.
Try that again.
Test. Okay, I think it's fine now. So yeah, so that brings us to the end of how we can use NEXWEAVE with the emails inside VBout. I'm going to show you similarly how you can develop personalized landing pages as well. But if there are any questions at this stage or anything, we can take a little bit of a break and discuss.
I think the one thing you didn't mention, though, Shreya, is that they connected their VBout account on their NextWeave account before you were able to pull those variables on your side. So that's easy to connect. Is that correct, Shreya?
No, in fact, there isn't really a connection required at this stage. What we've
Okay.
done is simply entered a list of the commonly used VBout variables.
Okay.
So we
So-
just have a static list at our end. It's not connected to any contact information that's streaming through somebody else's account.
Got it. So
So,
let's
but
say
what
I
we've
go
done
ahead.
is the ability to add custom variables. So it's usable by anybody.
Got it.
Sorry,
Okay.
I interrupted you.
No, not at all. So if I am an account and I create my own custom fields, do these show up automatically in NextWeave? And if this is too technical, you can skip it. I understand.
Yeah, so right now they won't automatically flow into NextWeave, but
Okay.
we've started exploring native integrations, and that's something that I was discussing with you earlier as well.
Yes.
Once the native integration is done, the variables only have to be declared inside VBout and not inside NextWeave. So they make the templates within the VBout ecosystem itself. They just have to push in a button to invoke a template, and it will automatically match those variables and push them into the NextWeave templates. So
Perfect.
that will make it extremely easy for users to use these media assets inside emails or landing pages that are part of VBout itself.
But for the time being, you've done a great job in pulling in at least the records that 99% people use, like the name, the company,
The basics. Yep.
The basics. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Correct,
Thanks,
yeah.
Inder, for clarifying.
Absolutely.
So
So
to ask, and because a lot of people are going to do a follow up and say, hey, is there a way that there might be like an actual native integration? And I'm like, okay, well, I'll put that out there to the guys. Inder, that's a question that pops up consistently when we have these joint live stream super shows with multiple founders. So I'm putting it out there.
Yeah, so actually, me and Richard have been discussing over the past 1 week in terms of how the two tools can be used. So that's where we went ahead and we made a document on how it can be used in the status quo. And maybe I think we'll have a few more rounds of discussions that will be fairly simple in terms of doing that integration. And once Richard's team has got the bandwidth, maybe we'll discuss once again and get it through.
Rakesh, thank you very much for joining us, by the way.
Thank you, Rakesh.
One of the co-founding team members of NEXWEAVE.
NEXWEAVE, yes. We just did an event with Rakesh and the team. Great product to recommend too.
I wonder if there was a way how we could connect NEXWEAVE even further, adding it on to the VBout NextWeave workflow. That'd be interesting.
You know what I found, actually, Bruce, is that once you work with people who understand the products and the technology landscape, they get so creative in doing things with the products, because VBout is very flexible. NextWeave seems to be flexible. And if you're talking about products like NEXWEAVE, that allows them to, perhaps channel data from e-commerce, introduce it to NextWeave as a variable, and then pass it back to VBout. So now even the image of the product can be personalized. I mean, I can see endless possibilities here, but yeah, there are definitely many ways to leverage what's happening in the connection ecosystem.
100%. 100%. Inder and I, and we've discussed it with Shreya too about, and you hit the nail right on the head, Richard, about using any type of personalization with e-commerce. I mean, if there's money associated and tied to it, because of a drop of a conversion, it makes the necessity to have personalization that much more of a need, that much more necessary inside your workflow. So it just seems like a very natural and organic relationship to create between both NextWeave and VBout as well.
In fact, I'll admit that when we launched the product, we probably knew about 30% of the use cases. And when we put it out to the community, they've been extremely creative in terms of educating us on how we can make a better product. And there's so much to learn from these guys over here.
100%.
Yeah, I remember mentioning that having that discussion with last week in the live session that we had, that just the kind of creativity you get through the community, I think it's nice to see the direction it takes. You can't even preempt that while making a product. It's quite cool. So if we're ready, I can move into demonstrating the landing pages portion. I think we don't have too much time, so I'll keep it quick and brief.
We're getting also requests for. We've got two requests for a native integration. One from Bernard and the other one from Facebook user. If that's your real name, there you go.
It's in the works. We are working on a native integration, which probably will take away some of the few steps that Shreya had mentioned.
It will, yeah, definitely. So let's jump into the landing page personalization. So I've actually already gone ahead and created a landing page earlier, but once you've used the email builder on VBout, you'll notice that it is very easy to understand the landing page builder as well. The format is pretty much the same. So this is the kind of landing page that I've built as a brief, where I've left 2 blank spaces that I want to enter personalized images in. As you can see, it's very easy to personalize the text as well. So I didn't cover this when I went through the email template, but if I want to add any personalization variables, I just need to click on the shortcode button inside VBout, and I can find some basic profile information as well as information specific to my contact lists. So this is where my variables are coming in from, which I fed into NEXWEAVE as well. So now what I want to do is to give you a kind of visual of this thing. I want to enter a personalized image inside the hero section of my landing page, and I've also left another blank template here. So I've gone ahead and identified the templates once again. Now, I showed you earlier how you can input images inside emails, but actually you can do the exact same workflow, follow the exact same steps for GIFs as well. So images and GIFs are actually classified under image templates within NEXWEAVE. So you can actually create images and animated GIFs in kind of the same way. And it's as easy to do that. So here as well, I have username and company as the variables that I've used, and my second image, static image this time, only uses username as one of the variables. So similar to what we did previously, we need to run a campaign in order to generate a link for these images that is compatible with VBout. So I went into the campaign section and I'm just going to name this campaign. Now, in this particular scenario, since I'm only embedding an image inside the landing page, I'm going to leave my campaign type to image. So basically, this selection dictates the information that the campaign setup requires. So now, as you can see, there's no selection for video here. So I'm just going to select the template that the image that I just showed you, and click on Save and Proceed. We choose the same kind of campaign method. Click on Save and Launch Campaign. And in the same way, I can set my integration platform here to VBout. Just simply select it from the dropdown. And once again, I'm going to set my username. Copy the website. Generate embed code. So this is exactly the same as what we've done earlier. It's just a recap of the steps before. And you'll notice that creating personalized landing page is just as easy as creating personalized emails on VBout. So I, again, just need to copy this image embed link. And back inside the VBout platform, I select the image that I want to personalize and then just specify the path. This is the same image link that is being generated inside NEXWEAVE, and this is the link that's compatible with VBout. So when I apply these changes, oh, I'm sorry, I selected a different image template here, but the process would work exactly the same way. And once your landing page template is ready, you can just click on Save and Confirm. and it'll go through a similar process of verification and moderation from VBout's end.
I
And when
removed
it's
you
ready to
from that.
publish,
I approved
oh,
you for that.
perfect.
So no more moderation in your account, okay?
Oh, lovely. Okay. So when you're new, I guess there'll be moderation. And after that, you can see your published landing pages. So I'm going to show you one of the published landing pages here. So you can see I have my central. So this is a landing page that I created earlier before we began this demo as for the purpose of the demonstration itself. So I have a GIF that I've placed at the center of my hero page inside my landing page, but I also have smaller images which are also feeding in from NextWeave, and I embedded them in exactly the same way. I ran a campaign on NextWeave to generate a link for this image, and I just pasted it inside VBout. It was as simple as that.
This is
But your
great.
question must be that you can see Harpreet's name here, NextWeave here. This one says NextWeaver, this one says Justin. There's no consistency and there's no personalization. And I can't see the first name here. So this is incomplete at the moment, right? How do I make it so? How do I feed the personalization information to this landing page? So VBout also has the ability to have URL parameters inside this URL. So I can actually feed my personalization information, or actually I can tell VBout that I want first name to take this value, I want username to take this value directly through the URL itself. So all I need to do here is append my URL. So leave the first half of it exactly the way it is. And at the end, add a question mark and then just type first name is equal to. So I'm going to change all of the first names to my name, then put an ampersand and just make sure that I get this variable right. Sorry. And
I think you need the website. Thank you. Dash. Okay. And by the
equal
way,
to.
Shreya, if we are sending email and the email is linking to this page, I believe you don't even need to introduce these. This is when you're sending that link manually to someone and you just append those values.
Yeah,
It's
that's
worth.
a great point actually. I haven't had the chance to try the email that links to the VBout landing page, but I wasn't entirely sure how the personalization would work. So that really clarifies that. Thank you.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend we test it first. Community, this is a brand new integration, so please, expect us working through some of these nuances. But VBout, when somebody clicks on an email link to land on this page, VBout automatically knows who that person is, so you don't need to worry about that introduction on the URL. The second option for personalizing pages is exactly like Shreya is doing.
I would probably even go so far as to actually include the instructions on the photo that you may have on an email. That's a redirect that takes them to a personalized landing page and say, click here to access your personalized web page. So people would be like, what do they mean by that? And they click on that and they go to their redirected end destination and it has their name and they just get wowed all over again.
Exactly.
Right, like
So
apply a call to action on the actual photo or picture itself.
yeah, you can actually that's exactly what you can achieve. In fact, Richard, is there an ability to do that with forms as well? So within VBout, the forms that I generate, can I pass the information and link them to these kind of personalized landing pages?
You mean when you submit a form to a thank you page, or you mean when you are landing on a page
Yeah.
that has the form?
No, submit a form to thank you page. So basically, I collect the information inside the form, and when I click on submit, it takes me to a landing page that's personalized based on the form information.
I believe you could. We have a way on the form what happens after you submit. There's a redirect and there's an option to post the data in the URL. I need to look deeper into it. This is a little bit, I would say, slightly technical, but we should be able to do it through the redirect from the form to another page, page 2, which is the thank you page.
Okay, wonderful.
And then Miss Evans, one of our NextWeave ambassadors, she says, but would you still need to map the variables, correct?
I think sure you already mapped them on the NextWeave page now.
Correct. Yeah, I've already mapped them on NextWeave, so we don't need to do a second mapping. That's done. NextWeave already knows that the name here that's inside my image is the same name that's coming in from VBout, and the company website is the same information that's coming in from VBout. So if I do any URL parameter override on VBout directly, it's automatically NextWeave is gonna pull that in and dynamically change the image. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you,
So
Miss
yeah,
Evans,
that
for
brings
jumping
me
in. There you go.
that brings
Sorry,
me to
go
the
ahead.
end of our demonstration between how you can use NextWave with VBout. And of course, it would be really interesting, as we spoke about earlier also, to see what kind of ideas the community comes up with, because they've have been proven to be much more creative than any of us in the past. So yeah, it's exciting to see how else this could develop.
I'll put it out there because I know some of the community members are going to ask also. Richard, can we take, let's say, video embeds from, let's say, the NextWeave player and apply those video embeds onto a VBout landing page?
Absolutely. The reason, Shreya, you didn't do it because you just have to do source code and plug it in there. But I was just discussing with my colleague if we can just do it on the left panel via like a little input interface, so it makes it easier for people. So we'll find ways to do it easier. But so far, this can work as you did with the image via video by embedding it right in the source code.
Perfect. Miss Evans says she's referring to the variables coming from a VBout email. She doesn't want anyone thinking that it will automatically just personalize a web page without creating a personalized URL. And technically, you could mask it. I agree with Ms. Evans, but you could mask it inside a photo or just create a simplified link, a personalized simplified link. Click here to learn more, and that is a personalized URL that's shared through VBout.
Yeah, so and maybe Evan, if you're talking about what do you need to do on the VBout side, so when you click on an image, like what the structure of the URL should be, so in the next weave we'll pick it up. Is that your question? And I don't know if there's a lag between the live broadcast and how fast Evans will get this.
Yeah, sometimes if they're on their phone, they got to take the time to type it up.
Yeah, so usually we don't have to introduce anything to the URL, okay? But that requires testing. I just have 1% doubt here. The worst case, if it requires you pass over those URLs inside VBout on the left panel, Shreya, if you don't mind opening that builder again, you can probably just pass on those variables through the VBout editor. So on the left
Do you want
panel,
me to open the email builder or the landing page builder?
Either way, I think the left panel works exactly the same. But on the left panel, Evan, you will be able to pass those shortcodes to the link. So right here, if you click on Get Started for free, Shreya, and on the link, Create Link. Okay, thank you. You see it says Enter URL. After the .com, you see it right there. Put slash. You can put the question mark. And now you can enclose the full shortcode, or you can put in first name equals the shortcode itself. It can get a little technical the way I'm defining it here, but this is forcing the variable through the URL. But my 1% doubt will be confirmed hopefully once we do a little bit of testing with Shreya. Okay.
Yeah, I'm keen to try out how I can link this directly to one of my pre-created landing pages.
If that's the case, Shreya, the way we treat it is instead of doing landing page link, you make it a website, and you will grab the link to the landing page from another spot on VBout, and you just paste it as it was an external page. The same thing,
Okay.
The only difference is where we made the drop down available for convenience, but you can do it as a website URL and bring over the page. Make sense?
Okay, understood. Yeah.
exactly like you did it right here. First name equals the shortcode. So when it gets sent to 100,000 people, we have 100,000 different values of that first name.
Hmm.
Cool.
Alrighty, guys, I just want to let everyone know, too, I've updated the code down below for redemption for the agency certification for VBout. That's going to be shutting off sometime today. I don't know exactly when, so if I'm you and you know about it, don't delay. Take advantage of that that discount code. There it is, VBout Agency 2021. And here's the second code coming up there, too, in the URL. Ms. Evans, correct. That's what I mean. I want everyone to understand we're still feeding the variables, not automatic per se. Yes, that is totally true. It's not automatic yet until there's a native integration, which you heard it from the guys. They're working on it.
And maybe, Shreya, when you have a moment, to test out an email that gets sent without adding those variables, feeding to URL, and let's see if that works. But let's do
Yeah,
this
I have a
offline because-
suspicion that might work
Yeah.
because we're anyway connected it to a CSV. So I have a feeling that might work, but I'll test it out definitely.
Because it works with our variables. Like when we send out an email, you don't have to pass anything to the link. VBout automatically
Exactly.
knows it because we already append the ID of the person to the link. So the landing
Yeah.
page picks that up.
Yeah, that's what I think. I don't think we'll need to put a website URL separately. But
Yeah. Once
yeah,
we
I
test
guess
it, we
we'll
can
test
confirm
it
to
out.
Evans and your community, please. That would be
Sure,
awesome.
definitely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Folks, I want to say to the 30 of you that have stuck around and seen the live stream, I hope you're taking advantage of the codes and you're going to be joining into the VBout group. Thank you all for sticking with us for the past hour. Now to the Fallah brothers. Amazing. Like, I haven't even opened up the platform and I'm just already like, that's simple. That's easy to understand. That's nice looking. I can totally figure it out, which means that the hurdle for adoption of actually using the platform now that we've introduced it to like hundreds of people now and probably thousands of people by the end of this week is just going to make the adoption of users a breeze. They're just going to find it so easy and so welcoming. Richard, you did a great job introducing it. George, you spoke so much too. I had to tell you to be quiet because you just wouldn't stop talking nonstop. So thank you guys both for jumping in to the live stream today. Go ahead, guys.
Sure. No, I was just going to thank you guys as well. George, I'll give you a moment. I did all the talking.
No, don't worry. Yeah, Bruce and Ender, everyone, I would like to thank you for giving us this opportunity. I really loved your platform as well. The way you map the fields, it's really very easy. And I'm really happy for this integration. And I think it will really add value to the clients. Thank you again for this opportunity. I'm really happy to be part of this meeting.
Awesome.
Richard, you're going to have to take a picture of that right there. You got a little testimonial.
I see that. And just a quick closing here, guys. You have no idea how much money big companies invest in personalization. You're talking about millions of dollars. You get it right there by getting a tier on VBout and by getting a NEXWEAVE membership. It's worth it 1,000,000%. Do not pass on this. The power of personalization and conversions and branding, it has so many different facets in terms of taking your marketing from being here to up here. So I highly recommend you deploy these personalization tactics. I am personally super pumped, and I'm not easily pumped about these things. And I thank you guys for bringing this integration to our community and yours as well.
And I also
Omar.
add one more thing. As soon as VBout came out, I think I was amongst the first few guys who went ahead and got the stack because it is so easy to move everything that you've got on HubSpot into VBout and then move everything around over there. So I know many of you are looking forward to the native integration, and I am probably in the top 10% over there who want it to be done because then we can just showcase everything through the VBout NEXWEAVE combination.
Love it.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there's Bernard again. Thank you very much for joining us. Yes, we agree with you. The future is personalization. And every type of media personalization, photo, GIF, video, web, audio, 100%, and we totally agree with you on that. Bernard, thank you very much for joining us. Guys, that's it for this week. We're going to try to see when we can get the rest of the VBout team to join with us in the future. George, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Richard, George, it was a pleasure having you. Let's have you guys on in a week or two again also as like a quick recap and try to figure out in the meantime how both communities can try to see if there's any special hacks that they can take advantage of by using VBout and NEXWEAVE together. So please, I look forward to having you guys on again soon. Not too far down the line, I hope. Miss Evans, thank you for joining us too. We'll have you come on screen or on camera. Miss Evans also does some walkthroughs with us. It would be great, Miss Evans, if you did some walkthroughs yourself or some testing with VBout, and then we'll see how we can get it integrated with NEXWEAVE. We'll have you come on the show and show the community members too. You're very welcome for the session. Team NEXWEAVE, woo woo. There you go. All right, guys. So with that in mind, we'll let you go. Keep social distancing in mind. Wash your hands, and we'll see you guys all on Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific. And don't forget, let me put up the group URL to join VBout. There you go. That is the VBout group URL. So if you're on your phones, take a screenshot so that way you can join them a little bit later. Guys, also, please be sensitive. They have their normal recurring revenue customers in there as well. You know what that means. And on that note, see you guys all for the NEXWEAVE community members. We'll see you guys all Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good one, guys. Take care.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.